Hello, and welcome to the JCC of Metro Detroit's 22nd Annual Lenore Marwell Detroit Jewish Film Festival. My name is Jamie Loeb, and I'm the Senior Director of Cultural Arts here at the JCC of Metro Detroit. Our live film discussion series is presented in partnership with the Detroit Institute of Arts Detroit Film Theater. I want to thank them for their support and their help in making all of these live events possible. If you've come to some of our previous live film discussions, you'll have noticed the director of the Detroit Film Theater, Elliot Wilhelm, moderating most of our discussions. He joined the team for the festival and really served as our film expert in residence. So I want to say thank you to Elliot for all of your help, all of your hard work, and all of your expertise. I also want to say thank you to Elaine and Michael Serling, who are the sponsors of tonight's event. Thank you for your support. And finally, I want to thank the Film Festival Committee. The chair of the committee is Eric Lumberg, and you're not going to find a better group of people around town, except perhaps on the other JCC committees. We are so lucky to have this exceptional group of insightful, helpful, and all-around wonderful people choosing films and making the film festival a reality. So I hope you'll join me in thanking all of them. I'm going to put their names on the screen one more time for a round of applause. So thank you for joining us for our very first virtual festival that we are celebrating closing night tonight. Of course, the festival does run until tomorrow night. You are able to watch films all the way through 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. But of course, we officially close for Shabbos at 5 o'clock. So tonight is our closing night. We're so glad you could be here with us. If you'd like to check out our full list of films and events, you can watch previous events that you may have missed. You can find that here at our website, culturalartsjccdet.org/filmfest. While you're here at our YouTube channel, do take the time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little reminder bell. That way you're always up to date with exciting virtual events from the JCC. We do want to hear your comments tonight. We want to hear your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, and we will take as many of them as we can. We have a great discussion prepared for you, but we do want to hear from you, so you can put those comments in the comment box down here, or you can text it to that number right up here, 248-702-5241, and my colleague will copy those into the comment box for you. So tonight, we have a very special event. We have with us Guy Mintus, piano virtuoso and one of the most interesting, accomplished, and innovative musicians around today. His style brings together jazz, classical, Jewish folk music, Turkish folk music, and many more. He travels the world performing both as a solo artist and as part of the Guy Mintus Trio, and he performs both his own compositions and the works of masters, both recent and more historical. If I started to list all of his awards and accomplishments, we would probably be here all night, so suffice to say, he's done it all. Guy joins us tonight as the composer of the score to Fiddler, A Miracle of Miracles, which we are showing at the festival, and which we'll be talking about this evening. We'll be talking about the film, the influence of that music on Guy's music, and of course, we'll be hearing an exclusive performance at the end. So please join me in welcoming Guy Mintus. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So, Guy, you had a little problem with your electricity.
Oh, well, the problem is still here. There is no electricity right now in the entire building. And so that's the reason the lighting is kind of shady. I'm using my iPhone's light, and the computer still has battery, and I'm using the internet from the phone. So it's a completely alternative setup that created here, and ready to go. And I have the file ready for the performance later on. yeah, we just go for it and hope for the best. But I'm very
Absolutely.
happy to be here. It's great. And hello, everyone.
We are so glad to have you. I should mention, Guy is joining us from Israel, which means the middle of the night there, and he was very gracious to join us in the middle of the night so that it would be at a good time for us. So thank you so much for that. So let's start. Tell us about yourself and how you got involved with the documentary about Fiddler.
Sure. So I'm Guy Mintus. I'm a composer, pianist, play and perform and write for all different ensembles and situations. And with the Fiddler film, it really started. I got to know Max Lukowicz, the director, in Germany in a concert I did there, and he was there. We became friends, and then I came to visit him when I was in New York, and we were sitting at the salon of his apartment, and he went on to bring some coffee or something from the kitchen, and he had a piano at the salon, and I just started, because I knew he was working on a Fiddler film. I thought, oh, I had that music kind of in my head, and I just started messing around with some of the themes. And when Max came back with the coffee, he was, oh, this has to be in the film. Oh, we got to do something with this and that. And it really started with just, one piece that we wanted for the closing titles. And it ended up becoming 7 or 8 like music beats that most of them are like completely original that I wrote and recorded to different scenes. So like all the piano stuff you're hearing on the film that is not Fiddler, then it's probably me.
Right. So Fiddler is one of those musicals that I think most Jews encounter at some point in their lives. And of course, being a musical, especially musicians, it's just it's part of your musical language. So
totally.
Tell us a little bit about how that has affected the way you make music in general.
Sure. I know this Fiddler music. I mean, I know it since I'm really young, because when I started to play music, it didn't start with like an acoustic piano. Wow, my hands on the wall is pretty amazing. I started with like a little keyboard, and it was, just kind of eclectic. I didn't start like the usual route of like classical music for several years and then maybe jazz or other stuff. I started with kind of a mishmash of everything. And, in that mishmash, you had the Beatles, you had some Israeli songs, you had a bit of Gershwin, and you had some Fiddler tunes for sure. If I Were a Rich Man was definitely one of them. So like this music is really, I know it since I'm really young, and coming back to it, with the film reconnected me with this repertoire, and just like reassured like how rich and fantastic it is. Like it's a real meeting point between, like, I mean, it's a Broadway composer, but like diving into this language of klezmer and of all sorts of things, mixing it up. It's just like a wonderful repertoire, and it's really has so much potential, like to take it different places. And I really enjoyed playing with it. It's kind of became part of my repertoire in concerts. Occasionally I got to play like a big Fiddler improvisation medley in the Ukraine last summer, which was really special. This is where the story originally takes place, on the Tevka, and so it was kind of closing a circle. And yeah, I just love it. I love, in my music, I mix a lot of things too, and Fiddler is an incredible example of that, of like mixing klezmer, Jewish, like more cantorial maybe music, kind of music, Broadway. It's pretty jazzy too, and it's like a lot of things. And yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is such an interesting mix, and a really peculiarly American mix. So I'm always fascinated when other places are so affected by it, because I can only understand it within the context of Broadway, and clearly Broadway music is available in other places. But there's so much rich, interesting things happening in Israel and other places. I'm always amazed at how much influence certain musicals can have, even so far away. So,
Yeah.
you know, you talked a little bit about earlier how that one piece that you sort of improvised became a whole score for
Film score.
documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think our audience would be interested to know a little bit about film scoring as a
Sure.
composition that's different than, say, writing a piano concerto, which you've done, or writing a symphony or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a different process, and so tell us about some of those differences.
It is, and I will even say that, like, between writing a piano concerto and writing another piano concerto, it's like can be completely different processes too. So, like, I mean, for me personally, I know some people might have like kind of a method, but for me, it's really every piece or every situation kind of invites and creates its own process, which keeps it fascinating. Like sometimes an idea can come in the most unexpected places, but in the Fiddler, but everything like that I would compose, it always comes from a place of improvisation, of just kind of being in the moment and seeing what things come out naturally, and and then like picking up on that. And that will happen if I write a piano concerto or if I write a film score. And for Fiddler, I had like the beats. Usually, like the film composer, like you get beats, like little small scenes, and I would like look at the beats and try to understand what's the emotion conveyed, what is it about, like what is the subtext. And sometimes like would just improvise something that creates that kind of atmosphere for me, and record it. And like even like when I recorded the film score, it was never like a score. I was I had like the ideas and I was improvising on them and preparing to the recording session. But then in the recording session, it happened in real time. So like the team, Max and the team, were sitting in the control room and we're playing the scene, and I was doing something, and then they were happy. But then I said, wait, but I want to try it also like with a little bit more of that. And then they hear say, oh, okay, well, that gives it all that. But there's a third option. Check this out. So that's kind of what the process was, just giving them like different options how to paint the scene in like slightly different shades through music. And music can really do that, and that's like a really powerful thing. And having the Fiddler kind of vocabulary in the very back of my mind, so like I didn't necessarily compose music that sound like it was from Fiddler on the Roof. I composed like it's really like personal other music that complements that. So it's like it links, but it's also something else. Also because it needs it to have the balance sonically in the film. But yeah, so that was the process for that. It was fun.
that is really interesting, because usually film scoring is such an absurdly precise process. You have the click track that you have to play to, and it has to be scored so that at this moment in the music, this precise moment of film is happening.
Yeah.
And when you have like a whole orchestra, a whole band recording a score, it is it's so much more precise than really any other kind of music making, that being able to have such freedom with the film, do you feel like you got a more complex emotional range because you had that freedom than had you had to like write everything down?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're spot on, like to say that it is like a very different process when you do it with other musicians, or especially with a big ensemble. In this case, the music it was a solo piano music, so it really it allowed for it to happen in this kind of very organic way. Like you're right, there is in a way more juice, more colors, because you can really be in the moment and feel it, and what you felt in that moment, it registered and it's part of it now. and you have these different options. And like the beautiful thing is that with the piano, it's like, for me, it's an entire orchestra and more. And there's so many colors and sound, so many things you can get out of it, that like, I was really glad that it kind of organically became, one of the soundtracks of the film. There are several layers to the sound palette, obviously, but kind of one channel, that thread is like the piano thread, and it's kind of very like clean and pure in it, like just a piano sound, nothing else, without trying to, and it's almost like tapping into your inner world. Like that's how it feels to me, and then I get to color it and respond to it in real time. With some preparation, I did prepare some themes, some ideas, but like the actual thing, it was never like fully written down. Looks like electricity just came back.
Yay!
Bravo! Good for us. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that your earliest musical training was sort of mixed in terms of genre, and certainly your career has included the kind of music you play is rarely one thing. But to write or compose or improvise, whatever you want to call the creation of this score, there's a lot of tricks of the trade that would seem to be necessary. And when I say tricks of the trade, I mean the kind of techniques that composers like Mendelssohn would have used to, like, or Strauss, or, the techniques that composers have been using to paint pictures with music for 500 years.
Sure.
And so I'm wondering, and they come from opera, they come from theater, they come from all sorts of sources. So I'm wondering if you feel like, based on your training and your experience, like if you feel like you have a sort of conscious, methodical knowledge of those kinds of tricks, or are they just part of how you speak music?
It's both. I mean, I did study, a lot of these composers, and like, I've been absorbing like a lot of musical theater and opera and all these things, and like it's been definitely been like carefully, studying and trying to understand the history and what kind of, devices can create a certain atmosphere, but then also like allowing yourself to, okay, there is all that, but like now I'm just gonna have to, just do and let things come out naturally. And that's a really powerful thing too, in life. It's like, you can read like 10 books on how to make a cake, but until you don't just make the cake, and the cake you'll make, it will always be your cake. It will never be like the one in that book or in that book. It's always going to be yours. So it's kind of finding the balance of embracing, the knowledge and the universes that are out there, but still realizing that you have no choice but to do you. So you may as well do it.
And, from my former life as a musician, that's the hardest part.
It is very hard to let go.
It's really getting to that moment where you're integrating all that you've learned into something that feels like only you. Really hard.
It is, yeah.
Kudos to you for doing it. So good job.
I'm just I don't have a choice. But also just to speak about that a tiny bit more, it's really interesting. A lot of times I compose a film score, like, without a film, you know what I mean? Like when I improvise or compose music, like for my trio or for an orchestra, it's like you write music for an imaginary film. Like, so it kind of goes both ways, like, a film or like an atmosphere or all these things. It's like, it's really part of one thing. So like, essentially, it doesn't feel to me like, like these processes are that different in their essence. Like they really aren't. There are some technical things, yes, but like how you should write for an orchestra, how you should write for this situation, how you should, align cues for a film, or how you write for improvisers like my trio, but like really it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's all like telling a story, and sometimes this story is visual, sometimes it's imaginary, sometimes it's something else. It's literary. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I think, generally speaking, good music, no matter what the genre or style, tells a story.
Yes.
And sometimes it has words to help it do that, and sometimes it doesn't. But
Indeed.
it needs to feel like there was something happened, So you mentioned a little bit the different sort of technique or technology of writing for one kind of ensemble versus another.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are talking to each other on the internet from several thousand miles away.
Yeah.
And, I know you've been doing a lot of virtual events over the last several months. You very graciously visited with us over Zoom. Was that June? Was it
Something
May?
like that. Something like that.
It was warm out. It was a while ago. So I wonder, I'd love to hear, what your life has been like since the pandemic, like what it's like being you and your kind of musician in this situation, and also, how's it been adapting to suddenly there's all of this tech that owns you.
Sure. Well, big question for sure. And yeah, I mean, basically in March, things shifted completely. I'm most of the year until March, I've been on the road. Like I wouldn't be in one place for much more than 2 weeks. And yeah, in March, 30 concerts got canceled like in a matter of a few days over 3 continents. And, I realized that, okay, this is not happening, but I have something that, I want to share. And I know there are people that can benefit from it. And like, essentially, that's what music making is really about for me. Like, it makes me very, like, it gives me so much joy and calmness and inspiration. And because of that, I want to do it. And the other reason I want to do it is because I know there are people that can benefit from it. So I started this weekly live show over the internet it was at my parents' home. I started like a little broadcast station there and started streaming every week. And people started joining from literally all over the world. Like people were watching from Indonesia, from Peru, from anywhere. I mean, really anywhere and everywhere, like cities in the US. It was insane. And my thing was that I took song requests from people every week and I would raffle them, all the requests I got that certain week. And whichever ones came out, I would improvise on and play for them. Because I felt like that's a very meaningful way to like give somebody a gift, like to connect with someone. And a lot of times people that, just lost a loved one, that were dealing with a sickness, that were, just wanted to celebrate, a birthday or a wedding gift or whatever, and couldn't in the middle of the thing, they asked for songs. And, and these songs, when I played those songs, it was really, really intense and special thing. In that really crazy period. And this thing developed like more and more. And now I don't do the show every week, but I do it often on my Facebook page. Probably someone can put it in the comments or something. And you guys are most welcome to follow and join the ride. I also had a commission this like August that I did, and it was world premiered over the internet in September. It was by the American Composers Orchestra, and they commissioned a solo piece for solo violin. And I collaborated with incredible violinist Kelly Hall Tompkins. And yeah, so like things are definitely happening. Next week I'm supposed to go to Serbia and then to Germany, but there's a big question mark on that right now because just today a new regulations came up. So I don't know if it will still happen, but it's part of this period is to not get too attached, to anything and like really adapt and think of, creative ways and new ways. Of course, I miss playing for people in person. I really do. But it's very important, but it's not the essence. The essence is like to give what you have to give. And if the way to do it right now, what are the possibilities? that's really the most important. So I'm just developing like a lot of concepts. There is one concept that I want to share with all of you because I think it might be beneficial, and that's like a daily piano meditations group where I'd be sending like a daily track of an improvisation that is piano improvisation that is like made for meditation. It's like 5 to 10 minutes, and it's just like a matter of kind of closing your eyes and diving into it, and letting the music, taking a moment for yourself away from the screens and from everything. So that will start soon, and it will be a 14 days challenge, like for us to do this every day. And whoever wants to join, you're most welcome. So you just need to contact me, perhaps through the Facebook page or email or whatever way is appropriate, or let Jamie know. She'll pass it along.
Yeah, you've done some really fascinating things in terms of continuing to engage with your audience and with new people and just put things into the world. And I've been really impressed by your willingness to just try things. A lot of artists, rightly so, they care that what they put out is perfect. And certainly musicians tend to be perfectionists, believe it or not. And
believe me, I mean, I'm a Virgo.
You know this.
I know the problem very, very, very.
Yeah,
very well.
it's a very difficult thing as a musician, especially one of your stature, to just try things and see what happens. And so I like your Facebook page, so I see all your stuff. I'm in your WhatsApp groups, and so I've been very impressed with your willingness to do that, and just the quality of what you've been putting out so regularly. So I'm sure the world thanks you for all that you've been continuing to add to it. I do have yeah, you're welcome.
That means
so
a
I have
lot, really.
I have a random, slightly unrelated life Israel question. So today it is October 29th, which around here means we're buying a lot of candy and things. Do you guys celebrate Halloween? And if so, what is that like?
Not really. We just focus on Purim, and there are a few pockets maybe of people that would celebrate Halloween, or maybe there would be like a themed party somewhere. But generally speaking, it's not so much of a thing in Israel, at least from what I experienced. Maybe I don't know, but from what I experienced, it's Purim. Purim is really that holiday when you dress up and all that.
Interesting.
But from my years in the States, I was really happy to discover Halloween and enjoy it. It's awesome. It's an awesome holiday. Very fun.
Yeah, our TVs are now filled with spooky movies and horror films and stuff like that. So, it's a whole thing. So, big life updates. In the midst of all this, you've managed to put together an album that is coming out soon. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So the album was recorded just before the pandemic. It was recorded in January, and it is with my trio. And it is called a Gershwin Playground, and it's all dedicated to the music of the great George Gershwin. One amazing thing that happened in the middle of all this is that I signed with a European jazz label that's called Enya. It's an amazing label that put out records by some of the legends like Chet Baker, Charles Mingus, McCoy Tyner, a lot of the very great, my heroes. So it's a great honor to be part of it. And we just released the first single. It's called "Summertime." You might know it, and it's out on all the platforms. And tomorrow morning, will be released the second single, and that is going to be "Someone to Watch Over Me." I'm singing in that album a bunch, which is a new thing, new-ish thing for me. I mean, I have been singing for a while, but never recorded it and in such way. So And yeah, this album is just all about, it's taking Gershwin songs into our playground. It's called a Gershwin Playground. And it's about like really, telling these stories now in the context of now. What do they mean now in 2020 to us, to me as an Israeli, as a Jewish person who spent a lot of time in New York. And there are just a lot of interesting connections, obviously, between Gershwin and jazz and the African American community, and a lot of things that, that felt like would be a good idea to echo them, and just felt like a great music and great challenge after 2 albums of original music to take someone's body of work and reimagine it and see if you can really bring yourself into it all the way. And we did our best, and it feels good. It's happy to release it, and would love to have folks check it out and let me know what you thought.
So where can people find it? I did a quick search, and I'm seeing it on like the UK versions of Amazon and things like that. Is it on iTunes and that sort of thing?
Yes, it's on all the platforms. I just put here in the.
Here we got a link. I will share that with everyone.
Yeah,
there we
go.
On
Spotify is a great place to check it out.
Okay.
iTunes, Apple Music, basically all the digital platforms, Amazon Music, Deezer, whichever one you like to use, it's there. And yeah.
Wonderful. So we have probably a few minutes before we go to the performance. We do have a question from Elaine and Michael Serling, who are the sponsors of tonight's event. Hello, Elaine and Michael.
What's
they're
up?
asking if you've ever been to Detroit. You were supposed to be here in May, but have you been here before?
Yeah, well, that's a story that is going to be shared in the performance, but I'll share it now too. Why not? Well, I have been to Detroit twice, and I love Detroit. One of my mentors, Johnny O'Neill, is from Detroit, but I met Johnny in New York and spent a lot of time with him. Then I got to come to Detroit twice. Both times I played a trio show at Cliff Bells, the great jazz club. And on the first time, I went to another place just for fun that's called Bird's Marketplace. I'm sure everybody know it. A blues club in Detroit. Yeah. And what happened there was that I sat in with the band, I played with them, and I met an incredible blues singer called Lady Champagne. And Lady Champagne and I, we just became friends. We talked after the show. We were Facebook friends. And then on the second time I came to Detroit, she surprised me at the venue at Cliff Bells, and I invited her up. Now I invited her up, and she sang with the trio.
Nice.
The song that happens to be exactly the new single that we just released, and that song is Summertime. So it's all these connections.
So nice.
I couldn't help but giving it a little live version, which you will hear in the performance I recorded for you earlier today, of course.
Yep.
So
just to let you all know, this recording that we have, Guy literally recorded it earlier today for us, so we're very excited to see it. And we have that recorded and not live for a couple of reasons. One is, as we said earlier, it's 1:30 in the morning in Israel, which
Indeed
limits his ability to play the piano and sing and not be, beaten by his neighbors. And the other is that the technology of streaming live music or performing live over the internet is, shall we say, complicated, unpredictable, unruly. It can be done, obviously. Some of you may have seen live streamed concerts, but as you can see, Guy is in his home, and it's gonna sound better essentially recorded. Obviously, as our world has changed, technology has been changing with it, and it's what people can record at home has definitely gotten the quality that people can get in a recording at home is quite impressive. So that's the route we've decided to go. So let's see what Guy has to say on his piano.
All right, let's do it.
So this performance is while Guy is sort of pulling up the video here, I'll let you know it runs about half an hour. After which, we'll come back and take any questions that may have popped up and so on along the way. So do feel free to continue to add questions as you think of them during the video. And here we go.
Hello, Detroit. How are you doing? Guy Mintus here. I'm in my studio in Israel, Kfar Saba to be exact. And I'm very happy to be here tonight and play some music just for you. As you probably know, I was supposed to come this last May to Detroit and play at a Jewish film festival after the film Fiddler, Miracle of Miracles, to which I composed and recorded some of the music. Of course, that didn't happen, couldn't happen. But I'm really, really glad that, the community and the organizers of the festival has decided to choose alternative ways to bring us together and still share the music, share the cultures, share the experience really, and just get to know each other a little bit more towards hopefully a future event where we'll get together in person. So with all that in mind, I'm going to start by playing a medley of different themes out of the movie Fiddler on the Roof. I recorded this little medley for the end, for the closing credits of the film. You may have heard it, but now you're going to get the live version, which is very different and in a way crazier. I hope you enjoy this one. So
Hi, everyone. Obviously, we are having a little technical difficulties. It may be that Guy's internet has gone out again with the electricity, so give us just a moment to try and bring all that back, and hopefully we'll be back with you in just a moment. Hello, you're back.
Hi, excuse me. The internet did something because of the electricity, but I think good to bring it right back to where we left off.
Excellent.
So, quick second. Excuse this little pause.
It's the new the magic of live theater where you never know what's going to go wrong. This is the new version.
That's it. Check it out. We're right back.
Okay.
Yep, that's a little Fiddler medley. I wonder if you can write here in the comments which songs did you recognize throughout this little medley? How many were there? And whoever gets it all right will get a prize at the end. I won't tell you which prize, but you'll um, you'll find out. So from here, I want to move a little bit, a few years back in the history of music to a piece by a composer that we all know and love, one of the greatest masters in the history of music, really. It's very dear to my heart because right now I am working on a new project with the music of this amazing composer. And I'm reimagining it, taking it into my trio's work. I have a trio, jazz piano trio, and we're just checking out different ways to kind of reform and reshape some classics and bring them into our own world, into our own language. So this is a piece that we're dealing with right now, and the whole program will be premiered on the Jerusalem Piano Festival on November 12th. It will be live online, so stay tuned through my Facebook page or wherever if you want to know when it's out. But for now, you're getting an exclusive taste. So I hope you enjoy this next piece by the great Ludwig van Beethoven. How about a great Ludwig van Beethoven for you all? So, the next piece is actually an original of mine. This one is called Our Journey Together. And I find it relevant to this performance because this is a film festival, and this piece, in fact, became a short film that I did in Israel together with a director and animation artist from Prague, from the Czech Republic. And we went to 5 different locations around the country that embody the idea of coexistence. And we played the song in each of those locations. 3 of those were primary schools where kids of Jewish, Muslim, Christian um, religions study together. And we played the song for them, took portraits of over 100 kids, and had the kids drawing things while I was playing the song. And these drawings became animations. And there's all this journey, it became part of the film that is called Can You Tell the Difference? It's up on YouTube. We'll probably share the link in the comments right now. And you're most welcome to watch it later. It's about 7, 8 minutes. And yeah, and tell me what you think after you did. I'd love to hear what did it evoke in you. So I hope you enjoy this next one. This is the piece that the film is based on, Our Journey Together.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועמו אמן. So, this is the song Our Journey Together, the short film. Can you tell the difference? I think we have time for one more song, and this song actually is very special for me to play it for you because it relates with a very fun and memorable Detroit story that I got to experience. I have a confession. I love your city. I'm inspired by your city, and I've got to play several times at the Cliff Bells and also visit Burt's Marketplace in Detroit, and I just loved it, and I can't wait to be back. And on my first visit to Detroit, I was taken just to see and experience Burt's Marketplace. I ended up sitting in with the band and improvising with them, which was really fun. But from that entire evening, there was one character that really stuck out to me, and her performance was just mind blowing. We got to talk a little bit after the set, and we became friends through Facebook and such. And that character is the great Lady Champagne, the blues singer. So the next time I came to Detroit, I was at Cliff Bells with a trio, and all of a sudden, guess who showed up? It was Champagne, Lady Champagne. And I invited her if she wanted to come on stage, and she did. And she sang with us the next song I'm going to play for you. And it is double special because that song is Summertime by the great George Gershwin. And right now, I'm just in the process of releasing a brand new album of the trio that is all dedicated to George Gershwin's music. It's called A Gershwin Playground. And the first single off of that record, which is out, by the way, on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you go, is Summertime. So you see, everything kind of connects really beautifully and leads to this moment where I feel like I just have to share it with you. This is my version of Summertime. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're having a lovely time with this concert. I hope you enjoyed the film before. And God bless you. So let's see what happens. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you, with daddy and mommy standing by. one of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mommy, with Daddy and Mommy, with Daddy and Mommy, with Mommy, with Papa, with Mama, Papa, Mama, Papa, with Daddy, Mommy, Mama, Papa, with Daddy and Mommy, standing by. Yay! Well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and check out the trios version on the new album, A Gershwin Playground, and I hope to see you in Detroit very, very soon. Thank you so much. I was Guy Mintus. Stay in touch. Ciao, ciao.
Wow, that was so much fun.
Thank you so much.
You couldn't hear me clapping from the shadows there, but so much fun, so much fun. So I want to thank you guys for being with us tonight in the middle of the night.
Thank you.
Thank you for that recording, and thank you for all you're doing out there on the internet. I do want to share your, I put your YouTube channel in the comments and things like that. Also, I'm going to share, this is Guy Mintus's website there in the comments. You can also just Google search Guy Mintus, of course. And yeah, find out what he's up to. Sign up for his email list. Sign up for his Facebook page. Stay in touch. He's got a lot of
definitely would be great to see you in more events and know how was this one for you and what is your experience. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing is just communicating, and we have new ways of communicating now, but they are still communicating, so absolutely. We may as well.
Yep. The medium may be different, but the message is still a message.
Yep.
So thank 100%. You so much to Guy Mintus for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Jamie. You're such a gracious and wonderful host. And so thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you to all of you for being here. This is the closing night of our first virtual film festival, and obviously putting on a virtual film festival for the first time was a bit of a risk. We took a chance, and it's been wonderful to see all of you in the community really come together, both to support what we're doing and also to engage with the world of Jewish cinema and to engage with the people who are making Jewish cinema all over the world. So thank you, all of you who have come to our events, who have watched the films, who have become a patron, who have bought a festival pass, who have become a sponsor. All of you are really helping us to continue the festival, to continue our work, bringing the world of Jewish film to Metro Detroit. So thank you to all of you. Coming up next for the Cultural Arts Department is, of course, Book Fair. Book Fair will be coming to a screen near you. December 1st through the 9th is our main festival, but we do have some special events throughout November. So to find out more and to stay up to date on all of our exciting events through cultural arts, you can go to our cultural arts website, and that's where Film Festival, Book Fair, and Sage all live. And you can sign up for our email address, I'm okay. You can sign up for our email list with your email address, and you'll never miss an event that way. And starting November 9th, our Book Fair schedule will be available there. So Thank you all for being part of the Film Festival family, and have a great night.